Hi, Claire here from Inky Inspiration, and today's card is a braided gatefold. So if you just take the band off, you can see the intricate detail. No dies required whatsoever, and I'll talk you through how to do it. It's dead easy. So to create this card fold, I've got a sheet of A4 which I have just trimmed along the long length so that it is 11 inch, and I'm going to score that at 2 3/4, 4 1/2, 5 1/2, score it again at 6 1/2, and then 8 1/4. So to start with, you want to swing your card over so you're working on the back of the card, and you need a ruler and a pencil, and you're going to mark every 1/2 inch just down that 5 1/2 inch mark. Now for the template, you want something with a right angle. It could be a triangle, it could be a square. I use a die cut square, and I have marked on here 1 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, and they're what I'm going to use on here. So I've also down the middle of my square scored a line, and that's so that I can line it up with the score line that's already on the paper, so I know that I'm keeping that right angle, a right angle so to speak. So then line this up so that bottom and top are on that score line, and I'm going to mark to the 1 1/4 mark line. Sharpen my pencil. I found a different one actually. Make sure we're still lined up and down. And we're going to do that on the next line, but this time we're just going to go to the 1/2 inch mark. So line it back up and to the 1/2 inch. With the wobbliest pencil in the world by the looks of things. Next one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut it using a blade and a ruler. When I did it before, when I was trying to figure out what I was doing, I folded it, and as you can see, it's left quite a nasty groove, and it just doesn't look very neat or tidy. It looks much better if we do it with the blade. I will try and do this as much as possible without getting my head in the way, but I can't guarantee. So I've got them cut. I'm going to rub out my lines. And then I'm going to turn it over and fold them down. So fold the bigger ones down. I'll tuck them in a minute. I'll just get them all folded down to start with. So I'm going to use a teeny tiny bit of glue to hold these in place in a minute, but I'm just going to flick them under for now. So for the panels here, the pearl on this, the larger of the two, is 8 inch by 2 1/2, and the patterned is 7 3/4 by 2 1/4. And for the smaller one, the pearl is 8 inch by 1 1/2 inch, and the pattern is 7 3/4 by 1 1/4. So just glue this final panel down. And then my glue should be dry here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to flick it over and trim off this triangle here. And then it's up to you which way's up and which way's down. I think I'm going to have it that way. I might change my mind. Maybe that way. No, that way. So for my sentiment, I've used a Gemini torn oval die and cut a piece of blue, piece of the pearl and a piece of the same pattern paper. The Happy Birthday is a jumbo sentiment die from Heffy Doodle, and it does have a shadow with it, but I haven't used that. And I've just cut that out with some green glitter and adhered it using some foam, which I also cut it out of, and that is going to go on my front here. So we're just going to think about folding it. So this one here is a mountain. And then fold it back on itself to a valley. And same here, so a mountain. And a valley. And it should stand up quite nicely. Which it does. So when it comes to putting an envelope, it will fold as a gatefold. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your sentiment isn't wider than this bottom piece here. However, looking at it like that, it would probably go, it might go in a DL as well. I don't know, I haven't measured it. So this is going to go, I think it's going to go in the middle actually. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the glue on this bit, I think, and then I think I'll just end up with glue running all through the trellis if I stick it on the back of the sentiment. And while that's drying, I'm going to put some Nouveau drops in. These are in pale gold. And I just want them on this latticed panel here. So I've left that to dry overnight. I've come back and I'm just creating the patterned paper for the gatefold section. And for this, my pearl card measures 8 inch by 2.5 inch, and the pattern is 7 3/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm just gluing that on. I'm going to create a band to go around the middle. For this, I've used a sheet of A4, so it's A4 length. I've cut it to 1.5 inches and I've scored it at 2 7/8 and 8 5/8. A bit of double-sided tape in the middle. That's going to go over the top of here. Just check that it fits. Which it does. And then I have created a panel to also go on top of there, and that measures, the pearl is 5.5 by 1 1/4 and the pattern is 5 1/4 by 1. So bob that on there, and then I'm going to have a little sentiment to go in the middle of here. So cut a piece of the pearl card, and I'm just going to heat emboss my sentiment, which is out of the stamp set which I'm going to use, which is a Time for Tea Designs one, and it's called Birthday Cake. It just says Happy Birthday, and I'm going to heat emboss that in a Nouveau glitter embossing powder, which is called Magical Woodland. So that's going to go straight onto my band. And I think I'm going to have the bottle from the stamp set on there as well. The rest of the card outer is going to be blank, but I have got some images to go on the inside. And I am going to put a few Nuvo drops on using that same pale gold that I've used inside. Don't want to bed down on that bit. There we go. Put that to one side to dry. Oh, actually, before I put that to one side, I am going to use glossy accents on my image. Then I'll put them out of the way to dry so I don't stick it to anything else while it is drying. So I've got my images stamped and coloured. They're just coloured using Copic markers, and I've cut them out using the dies, but you can fussy cut them. And I'm just going to lay them down while I decide exactly where I want them, because I will tend to move them about a little bit till I get them exactly right. I have coloured them in a blue because I wanted to try and incorporate the blue of the background with a card base. I might not use them all. And again, I'm going to go over them with my glossy accents. I know this isn't for everybody. I like how it makes them look. Can I please ask that you like this video, leave me a comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.